Hey, what's up guys? If you're interested in creating and sharing your own content on the world's largest video platform, YouTube, then this video is for you. In the following steps, I'll take you through the entire creative process of setting up and launching your YouTube channel, including everything from choosing a name to creating your own channel art, uploading your first video, and promoting your own content. By the end of this video, you'll have everything you need to start building an engaged audience and share your content with the world. So without further ado, let's dive in. So the first step in this process is going to be the brainstorming process. This comes before everything, before you have your channel name, before you even have anything set in motion. We're going to do some brainstorming. What I need you to do for this step is ask yourself these simple questions. What is your content going to be about? What style of content are you going to choose to deliver it in? Long form, short form, both? What platforms are you going to post your content on aside from YouTube? Do you have enough ideas and information to produce lots and lots of content? This is an important one because a lot of people start and then realize, well, now I ran out of content and I'm not sure what to do, and their channel becomes stagnant. So make sure that you have lots and lots of ideas or information on what you want to create content on. Next question would be, how much time are you willing to invest in this journey? It takes a lot of time and effort to start a channel and build a following and keep at it. It's a lot harder than most people think, and it does take quite a lot of time. And the last question I want you guys to ask yourselves is, how much money are you willing to invest in equipment to record your content and edit and all that stuff, or do you already have it? There's a lot of free options out there, so this step isn't that important, and it really depends on the type of content that you want to create. Once you guys have answered all of these questions, it's time to move on to step 2. Step 2 in the creative process would be branding. Now, before we dive in and start creating your channel, let's think up some basic branding. Let's start with a name. Naming your channel is completely up to you, the creator. It can be anything that you want it to be. You want it to be an entity, like mine is Hammer Dance, which was like my gamer tag for a very long time. It can be your regular name. It can be a business or organization type name. Whatever you want it to be, let's think of a name. Whatever you settle on though, think for quite a while on this because it's not good practice to constantly be changing your name, especially in the beginning. You want to build a brand and you want it to be strong. You want people to remember that name and know when they see a video posted by you that this is your content. So think pretty long on this and come up with a name that suits your content and suits you and you're happy with, and go with it. Now, once you've settled on a name, it's time to start thinking about what you want your brand to look like, right? Every creator has a specific brand style or look. My color schemes are usually blue and white. That's my Hammer Dance logo, but I also use this kind of like vapor wavy type color scheme for everything where I love blues and purples and pinks and whites together. So let's think of that. Let's think of like a color scheme. What represents your content or your channel? Once you settled on that and you have a basic idea of what you want your brand to look like, it's time to actually get some artwork. Now, I'm not saying to go out and spend tons of money on crazy graphics and animations and things like that. You can if you want to, but it's absolutely not necessary when you're just starting your channel. There's a lot of cheap options out there. You can go on Fiverr and get some graphics done, like basically a logo and maybe a YouTube banner. It's some very simple channel art, but just make sure it looks professional. Make sure you're researching and looking at other creators in your category and getting some inspiration from them. There's nothing wrong with looking at people's channels that you watch and saying, wow, I really like that. And you know, go through, skim through it, find things that you like and gain your inspiration from that, and then tell the artist on Fiverr or create it yourself. I'm not sure, you know, some people know how to use Photoshop and Illustrator. For me, I do mostly all my own graphics because I've been using the entire Adobe suite for a very long time. So I know how to do some basic graphic design. But yeah, go ahead and find some inspiration from creators that you watch and, you know, pick and pull some pieces from theirs. Make sure though that you come up with your own unique style and branding that fits you. Don't go steal someone else's designs because that's not good practice either. Get some inspiration, figure out what works for you, and go from there. So now we've done the brainstorming, we've come up with a channel name, we've figured out what you want your brand to look like, and now it's time to create your accounts. I suggest creating a specific Gmail account for the channel you want to start and any other accounts that you might want. If you're just posting on YouTube, all you need is that Gmail account. But if, let's say you want to start posting on YouTube and have your content remixed down to some, you know, shorts for YouTube shorts and TikToks, create your TikTok account, Facebook, wherever you're going to post your content, get all these accounts created in this step. So we've settled on branding for your channel. We know what the name is going to be. We know what type of content you want to create, and we know what your brand is going to look like to your viewers. The next step in this process is going to be the planning step. This is usually the hardest step for new creators simply because this is where everything becomes real. Anyone can think about creating a channel, come up with a name, and get some artwork, but when it comes to sitting down and planning out your videos, people get stuck. My advice to you is to plan out your first 8 to 10 videos. I'm not saying to go and write 8 to 10 full video scripts. I'm saying just plan out your first 8 to 10 videos, meaning come up with the ideas for them, right? Make sure that it's something that people want to see. Make sure it's something that you have, a good amount of information to talk about, or whatever it is. It depends completely on your content, but just get basic, rough ideas of your first 8 to 10 videos and write them down, either using Google Docs or a pen and paper, whatever you want to use. After you've planned out your first 8 to 10 videos very roughly, I think it's time that we start writing your first video. Now, a lot of creators do this in different ways, right? Some creators write full scripts and read a script for their videos. It's a little harder when you're on a face cam, to read a script because you want to be looking at the camera. You don't want to be reading a script while you're talking. But you can do this any way that you want. Find out what works for you. I do a mixture of everything. I write outlines for some videos. I write full scripts for some videos. It depends how much my face is going to be visible in the video. So write out your first video, whether it be an outline or a script, or even just some bullet points that you can glance at and keep talking to. That's what I'm doing right now for this video. Write it out, get a full video written. Some people just completely wing it and talk off the top of their head, which I do for some videos as well, but it depends on the content that I'm creating. It depends on the type of video. And for you, someone who's just starting out, I highly suggest at least having a rough outline written for a full video that you can glance at, because in the beginning, you're going to be a little bit camera shy, so it's easier if you have some guidance and structure to your video. It's very easy to go off topic and start rambling and then forget about things that you wanted to mention. So I would suggest getting a rough outline done for your first video. So now that you've answered all the questions in step 1, settled on your branding, created your channel, and planned out your first 8 to 10 videos with a full outline or script written for at least one of them, it's time to move on to step 4. Step 4 is recording, editing, and creating your thumbnail. A lot of creators who are just starting out have a very hard time with this step, but I assure you, once you do this one time, once you create this first video, it'll start to flow naturally and become a lot easier for you. And that's because once you've recorded that first video, you've broken the invisible barrier. And the invisible barrier is what a lot of creators face. When you're just starting out, it's a pretty daunting task to actually start recording and editing and creating thumbnails and all that stuff. It's very easy to sit back and say, well, I want to be a YouTuber. I want to start a YouTube channel. Here are all my ideas. Here's my name. Here's my logo. And then when it comes time to actually recording, editing, creating thumbnails, this is where people get stuck and usually stop. And so most of the time, people don't even start. So I'm saying, make sure you just start. Get over that hump, just start creating your videos, and it becomes easier and easier as time goes on. Your first video may be great, or it could be a complete train wreck, but the important thing here is that you broke that barrier, the invisible barrier, as we called it before. It's very important to get past that, because once you get past that step, you are now in the process of moving. You're starting it. You're going forward. You can only go up from here. You didn't have a channel before, and now you have a channel. So we're moving in the right direction. Another thing that happens after you've recorded that first video is you gain some confidence, and you can see that in your future videos. Think of it like a skill in a video game that levels up every single time you create and publish a video. This never ends. You constantly get better and better and better. You get more charismatic in front of the camera. It's constantly leveling up, and your videos are going to get better and better as time goes on. I know for myself, if I look back at my first video that I created for this channel, I was very awkward. You could tell I was super weird in front of the camera. I felt awkward. I didn't really know what I was trying to say. I had a full script written, but once the camera was on and recording me, I lost it. I got very nervous. It just felt weird to me in the beginning, but now 120 videos later, I could talk to the camera no problem. What helped me is I started to think of it as I wasn't talking to a camera. I was talking to a group of people, and it was a group of people that all had the same thoughts as me. They all, my channel is about being a creator, streaming, software. It was a bunch of things that I had in my brain. I knew this information, and I wanted to relay it to people and do it in a fun way that I found enjoyable. So I started to think of it as I was just talking to people. I'm talking to a group of people. I'm not talking to a camera. Even the biggest creators get better and better with every video. Go look at your favorite creators. Go back 1, 2, 3 years on their channel, and you'll see the improvement. You constantly are getting better and better the more videos you put out. Now that you've recorded your first video, it's time to edit. I suggest using something like Adobe Rush or any free video editor that you can find in the beginning stages of your channel, simply because I don't think you should dump a bunch of money into this, because you may do this and figure out, you know what, this isn't for me, I don't really like it, I don't want to do it. Not usually the case with most people, but there's tons of options out there when you want to get into paid options. I use Adobe Premiere for all my editing, but I've been using it for quite a long time, and it's a little bit complex to use if you're just starting out. Adobe Rush was made for creators, so it's a lot simpler and very easy to use. Editing your first video, though, can be a little tricky if you've never used video editing software, so I suggest going on YouTube and searching whatever software you're using, search up some tutorials and follow them along. You'll gain some basic knowledge and it will come like that. It's very easy, especially in the beginning. Really, all you're going to be doing when editing your first video is trimming out the dead space. And what dead space is the silent parts of your video, where you stopped talking or where you're looking at your script, or you don't want it to be silent pretty much ever. Silence equals bad. You want it to be engaging the entire way through. You want to be talking, you want to be relaying information. People are spending their time to watch your video. They don't want to see you sitting there in silence. If you're trying to add some background music, add some background music in there. Make sure it's not too loud. When I first started, I was adding background music that was completely overpowering my voice. So it took me quite a while to get those levels right, to make it background music and not music that was just blasting over my voice. But there's tons of content on YouTube that you guys can watch. It's all free, and you will figure out how to edit your first video. Anyone can do it. But after you've finished editing your video, make sure to watch it back to yourself a few times. You'll have made mistakes. I still make mistakes, and I've been doing this for years. Watch it back a few times, fix any mistakes that are in there, make sure that it's solid, make sure that it has all the information packed in there that you wanted to deliver to your audience, and then it's time to export. Exporting is fairly simple, but if you want to look up the best export settings for whatever software you're using, there's also tons of content on that on YouTube as well. I suggest looking it up just to make sure your video comes out the way that you want it to be. So you've recorded and edited your video. Now it's time to create your thumbnail. Creating an excellent thumbnail is one of the most crucial parts to uploading your videos on YouTube. Your thumbnail and title are like the two key elements, I think, that most people don't stress enough how important these are. Your thumbnail and your title are what gain your viewers' attention and get them to click on your video. It's extremely important to have a really engaging title and a really engaging thumbnail that, well, you know, when someone is scrolling through the thousands and thousands of videos in your category, they're like, wow, this one looks great. I want to watch this video. For creating thumbnails, though, I suggest using something like GIMP, which is free software. If you do have Adobe Photoshop, that's what I use. But there are lots of free options out there when it comes to creating thumbnails. It doesn't even need to be anything crazy. It just needs to look professional, concise, and to the point. You want to make sure, though, that you don't repeat the title of your video in your thumbnail. Think of your thumbnail as like a news headline. You want to let the viewers know, hey, this is what you're going to get if you click on this video. You don't want to repeat the title and make it like you're telling your entire description of the video in the thumbnail. It just needs to be catchy, appealing to the eye, and deliver a clear message on what this video is about in a way that makes people say, wow, I really want to watch this video. Just remember, the main goal of your thumbnail is to grab your viewers' attention as they're scrolling through. So anything you can throw in there to make people stop and say, whoa, I need to watch this, put it in. So now that you've recorded, edited, and created your thumbnail, it's time to move on to uploading. This is where it pays off to do some research on keywords and proper search engine optimization, or SEO, which I'm sure you've seen, to learn how to title and write video descriptions and tags the right way. Titling your videos with good keywords and search terms is crucial to helping the algorithm feed your content to viewers. Spend a lot of time researching before you actually come up with a title for your video and write your description and tags. One way that you can figure out good titles or search terms for your video is to head on over to YouTube yourself, right? And start typing in the search bar. Think about the video that you're creating. Let's think about this video, how to start a YouTube channel. So if I go to YouTube and I type, it'll auto-populate with the most commonly searched phrases. And one of those phrases is how to start a YouTube channel. So you know that a lot of people are searching that phrase. So that is a great title. You want to keep that in the title, put it in the description, use it in the tags, use that to your advantage. Go on YouTube and search yourself. If you were searching for the video that you're creating, what would you write in that search bar to find it? and that's usually a good title. Now, once you have your title, description, and tags all set to go, it's time to publish your video. Every channel has a different hot window. And what a hot window is basically the times that your audience is most active on the platform. Now, just starting out, you're not gonna really have the analytics on your channel to see like, oh, my viewers are watching all my content between 12 and 4, Monday through Friday, and then it kind of tapers off after 4 p.m. and tapers off on the weekends. You won't have that information available to you right off the bat, but a good rule of thumb is when you're just starting, post on like Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays around 12 or 1 p.m. That should be pretty optimal for you guys to gain some traction. And then once you have 10 to 20 videos on your channel, you can go into your YouTube studio and check your analytics and find that hot window. It gives you like a heat map that can show you when your audience is most active on the platform. Now, if you've made it this far in the video, congrats, you're on your way to starting a successful YouTube channel. You just have to find your rhythm. There's no specific formula that works better or worse. It really comes down to the creator themselves. You can upload once a week, once a month, twice a week, whatever works for you, but I do suggest setting yourself some realistic and attainable goals in the beginning. Goals are super important because it'll give you a sense of accomplishment when you reach that goal. And when I say attainable, let's say just starting out, I would give you a goal of posting one video every other week for the first 4 to 5 videos. This is pretty attainable because when you're first starting out, it's going to take you a lot longer to produce content than once you're already in your rhythm. I'm in my rhythm. I have my lights, my camera, everything is set up. I can basically write a video, hit one button, and I'm good to go. I'm recording. I got everything set up. I have templates set up on Adobe Premiere, on Photoshop that I use for my thumbnails. You'll gain your rhythm and you'll get faster and faster as you go. But when you're just starting out, I suggest doing one video every other week for the first 4 to 5 videos, find your rhythm, and then you can bump it up to once a week, twice a week, depends on the type of content you're creating. Just remember, you'll always get out of your channel what you put into it. If you're creating great content that's engaging, that people want to see, and you're delivering it in a way that keeps their attention, you will get rewarded for that. If you're just throwing videos together in a matter of 10 minutes and uploading it thinking you're gonna get views, and you're not researching keywords and SEO and titling your videos correctly, you probably won't get many views. So make sure you put the time and effort into this. I hope this video helped anyone who wanted to get started with a YouTube channel and didn't even know where to begin. If it did, subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications so you don't miss the next time I post a video. I have tons of videos on my channel on how to use recording softwares and streaming and all that good stuff, so feel free to check out any videos you want on my channel. They're all gonna be pretty beneficial to any creator who's just starting out. And on a side note, I also stream on twitch.tv/hammerdance Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. If you wanna jump in there and give me a follow or ask me some questions while I'm live, I do my best to answer everybody. And for any further assistance, we do have a community Discord. I'll drop the link to that in the description below this video if you wanna join the Discord, ask some questions on there, or just kind of meet some like-minded people who are all working to be the best creators they can be. But anyways, guys, that's all from me. I want you to keep those hammers up, and I'll see you next time.